Well, hello class, this is your well-rounded math teacher, Mr. Prakar. And today we're going to go over Unit 1. Our learning target is I can write and evaluate expressions and solve equations. So we're going to start out with algebraic expressions and then jump into algebraic equations. An algebraic expression is this: it consists of one or more numbers and variables along with one or more arithmetic operations. That just means addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, those types of things. So a good example would be something like this: 3x plus 2 is an algebraic expression. It has a variable term and our operation is addition. And then this 2 right here is just our number. But what you'll hear me call it a lot when we're working on notes, I could either call it a number or a constant. If it doesn't have a variable attached to it, it's a constant. So once again, 3x is my variable term, addition is my operation, and 2 is my constant or number. Next thing here, algebraic equation. A mathematical sentence stating that two mathematical expressions are equal. Something like 6x minus 7, which is an algebraic expression, equals 2x plus 1. Now 2x plus 1 is another algebraic expression. What makes this an algebraic equation is the equal sign. Here, we're probably going to evaluate this expression or simplify it. With equations, we generally solve for x. Expressions are evaluated, not solved. Equations are solved. So first of all, what do we know about evaluating expressions? Well, one acronym is PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, and addition and subtraction. Let's go back to this one. Parentheses, what you would deal with first, anything that's inside parentheses, whether you're going to add it, subtract it, multiply, or divide it. Once you're done with everything inside parentheses, it's exponents. If you had something like 5 squared, you'd do that before you'd square the 5, before you'd do any multiplication or division. Now, multiplication and division go hand in hand. You would do whatever first from left to right. Like division is just as important or equally important as multiplication when it comes to order. So you would do that from left to right. And what I mean by that is just a little example over here. 6 divided by 3 times 5. Now, just this expression right here, a lot of people do the multiplication first because they say, hey, multiplication comes before division. Well, that's not necessarily true. They're the same. They're equally important. You do whichever one shows up first, left to right over here. So we got division shows up first as you're working to the right, from left to right. So you would actually do 6 divided by 3 and get 2 times 5. And 2 times 5 is 10. That's how you would do this problem. Biggest mistake. People do the multiplication first and get 6 divided by 15, which gives us some decimal, and that's not the correct answer in this case. Addition and subtraction, it's the same thing. They're equally important when it comes to order. So you do whichever one comes first, left to right. So we got PEMDAS. Please excuse my Darren Sally, it's the same thing. For example, if I had 5 minus 3 times 2 plus 1. Using PEMDAS, there are no parentheses here. There are no exponents. There is multiplication, so I would do that first. So this is 5 minus 3 times 2 is 6 plus the 1. Now, a lot of people do addition first, but left to right, moving in this direction, the subtraction comes up first. So this would be 5 minus 6 is negative 1 plus 1, where this whole thing is 0. So that's PEMDAS. Here's another way of looking at it. Parentheses always first, then exponents, and then they put multiplication and multiplication and division on the same level here. Or basically there's 4 steps in PEMDAS. Multiplication and division would be considered one because they're equally important, just like addition and subtraction are also. Okay, let's evaluate some expressions here. You can use PEMDAS or the pyramid, whatever works best for you. We're going to do number 1A here. There are some parentheses. Now, we just have the 5 in here, so there's nothing to do inside those parentheses. But here we would add the 4 and the 3. So 2 times 5 plus 3 times 7 in this case. A lot of people want to use the distributive property here, but there are no variables in the parentheses. So if you can add these numbers together, subtract them, whatever it is, you would do that to get that one number. I have multiplication here. A number next to parentheses is the same as multiplication, addition, and another multiplication. Now I'm going to do both those multiplications before I can add them together. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 3 times 7 is 21. Finally add in them together, we get 31. So here's what I want you guys to do. I want you to do B by yourself. Hit pause, try it out, and then hit play again, and we'll go ahead and do it. So go ahead and hit pause now. And you should have done it by now, so we'll go ahead and do this problem. Now there's brackets and parentheses. You always do the innermost grouping symbol first. So we're going to do the 30 divided by 6 here. So I'm going to have 2 times 5 plus 30 divided by 6 is 5. 5 plus 5 is 10, so it's going to be 2 times 10. And finally 2 times 10 is 20. You should have 20 for that last problem then. We're also going to be evaluating here. Now I do see some variables, but they give us what those variables are. So we're just going to plug those in and simply evaluate. X is 3, Y is 4, plus 8, divided by the 12 here. We're going to do what's in parentheses first. 4 plus 8 is 12. So it's 3 times 12, divided by 12. Multiplication and division, equally important, but I'm going to do the one that shows up first, left to right. So 3 times 12 is 36, divided by 12. Last operation, 36 divided by 12 is 3. I'm going to let you guys do D here. Go ahead and hit pause whenever you're ready, but before you do that, the fraction bar is like a grouping symbol. You have to evaluate the numerator down to one number and the denominator down to one number before you can actually divide and get an answer. So go ahead and hit pause and try that. And here we go. 2 times X is 12, Y is 8, minus Z, and Z is 3. All over. Z squared. Oops. What is Z again? Z is 3. So it is 3 squared. What do we got here? We'll do the top first. Couple multiplications and then the minus 3. 2 times 12 is 24. Times 8 minus 3. All over. Well, I can do 3 squared. That's 9 because I can't divide these until I get one number on top. There we go. Let's extend this a little bit. There we go. Get my calculator up here. And we got 24. Let's delete that. 24 times 8. Enter. What do we got? 192. 192 minus 3 is 189. All over 3 or 9 here. 189 divided by 9, plugging that into your calculator, you should get 21. 21 is our answer. Simplifying expressions. Okay, a couple little steps here that we should probably go over. Number one, get rid of parentheses. You can write this down somewhere in your notes. And to do that, we're going to use the distributive property. This is a little bit different than parentheses for evaluating expressions. There you just have all numbers and you get it down to one term. Here we're going to get rid of parentheses by using the distributive property. And then number two, combine like terms. Like terms are the same variable raised to the same power. So, looking at this first problem up here, I got to get rid of these parentheses. There's a 4x here, 4x squared, and a 4x squared here, and you think, hey, they add up to 8x squared, but you can't add them together to get rid of parentheses. So distributing the 3 through here, we got the negative 10x first. 3 times 4 is 12, so it's plus 12x squared. 3 times 2 is plus 6x, and 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. And we got the plus 4x squared right here. So now we'll go ahead and just combine like terms. I usually start with the highest power, so I would work with the 12x squared and the 4x squared. It's simply this. They both have an x squared, so you add the numbers in front, which is called the coefficient. 12 plus 4 is 16x squared. Then we'll go to the negative 10x and the 6x because they both have an x, so the first power. Negative 10 plus the positive 6 is going to give me negative 4x. And finally, the only thing I have left is just a number, or what we call a constant, negative 6. So there's our answer, 16x squared minus 4x minus 6. I'm going to let you guys try B, and so go ahead and hit pause, and then hit play again when you're done. So go ahead and hit pause. Okay, using the distributive property first, 2x times the 2 there is going to give me 4x, and 2 times the negative 1 is a negative 2. Now here you're multiplying by a negative 4, so carry that along. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12x, and negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. We have two variable terms that are the same, 4 and negative 12, add up to negative 8, x, and two constants, or numbers, negative 2 and negative 4, that adds up to negative 6. So negative 8x minus 6. So there's simplifying expressions. And this is where you would use distributive property. Now once again, if I had 5 times 7 minus 2, I wouldn't use distributive property here. This is evaluating an expression. I just combine these two to get 5 times, in this case 5 or 25. It's a little bit different than simplifying. Okay, getting into some word problems here, just some simple, basically plug it into your calculator and get an answer. The Pyramid Arena in Memphis, Tennessee is the 3rd largest pyramid in the world. The area of its base is 360,000 square feet, and it is 321 feet high. Those are the two dimensions that we need for this formula. The volume of a pyramid is volume equals 1/3 base times height, where B represents the area of the base and H represents the height. Find the volume of the pyramid. So plug it in and you can just pop it into your calculator and get an answer. Volume equals, first of all, 1/3. And it's very easy to use fractions on calculators. I'm going to show you that in a minute. You basically just use parentheses. Plug the whole fraction in the parentheses. Base, 300. Okay, hold on here. 360,000. And the height, 321 feet. 321 feet. There we go. So using my calculator here, I don't want that. I don't want that. There we go. Clearing this out. Doing parentheses, we're with fractions pretty easy. Parentheses 1 divided by 3, and then finish it up with parentheses. So that 1/3 I can multiply, divide it, whatever I want. I'm going to multiply it, so we're going to use parentheses again. 360,000 and parentheses, and then times our 321 feet. And hit enter. 38,520,000 feet is basically our answer. Okay. Okay, back to the problem here. Here's a little geometry problem, basically. It says find the perimeter of a triangle where A is 9 and B is 10. So we're going to plug in some numbers here and figure out our perimeter. This is one side 2A, negative or 0.5 B squared centimeters, and 5A plus 1 centimeters. Now, once again, perimeter is just sum of all sides. So this is 2A plus, we'll tack on centimeters here in a minute, 0.05, I'm sorry, get that right, 0.5 B squared plus, in parentheses here we got 5A plus 1. So plugging in what we know, A is 9, so this is 2 parentheses 9 plus 0.5 times B. B is 10, so that's going to be 10 squared, plus 5 times 9 plus 1. So doing what we know here, using order of operations, I would probably do what's in parentheses first. Well, here we just have a 9, just one term. Here we just have a 10. Here I can do a little bit of work. 5 times 9 is 45 plus the 1. That's going to give me 46 altogether, plus 2 times 9 plus 0.5 times 10 squared once again. So kind of finishing this up here a little bit. Parentheses we already did. I'd probably go into exponents next, so I'm going to take care of this 10 squared. I'm not squaring the 0.5 here, just the 10. So it's going to be 2 parentheses 9 plus 0.5 times 10 squared is 10 times 10 or 100 plus the 46. And there's only one term there, so we can drop the parentheses. I got a couple multiplications. I got 18. 0.5 times 100, well, half of 100 is 50 plus 46. So adding all those up, see if I can pull my calculator up here without making a mistake. I'll clear that out. We basically have 18 plus 50 plus 46. And enter. 114. So perimeter, 114 centimeters. 114 centimeters. Okay, good. Moving on. Let's go back one. Okay, writing some expressions here. Some key terms. You guys have done this before. Should be pretty easy for you. The first one talks about adding, increased by, more than, some. This is all addition. So when they say 5 increased by a number, we don't know what the number is, so that's our variable. It'd be 5 plus a number. You're adding that number to 5. Subtracted, decreased by, less than, difference, taken away. This is subtraction. This is what you have to be careful. It's 4 less than a number. So you're basically taking 4 away from that number. So you have to start out with the number first. This is x minus 4. If I said, pretend this was 10 for a minute, and I said 4 less than 10, you would definitely come up with 6, and that's 10 minus 6. So that's kind of one way to look at it. Multiplied by, product times. The dot is your multiplication symbol. Sometimes you'll see that people use star also for it. 1/2 of, 1/4 of. You're multiplying it by something in parentheses generally. 1/2 of something means multiplication. So it says this, 5 times the sum. Okay? You're adding something and you're multiplying 5 times that sum. So 5 times the sum of what? Well, we're adding 9 and a number. So 9 and x. So this is 5 times the sum of 9 and a number. Quotient divided by, this is division. So you get your division symbol. A lot of times we just use the fraction bar for this. This one's a little tricky. It says twice the sum. Twice the sum. So you're adding something. What are we adding? A number. That's the first thing. So we'll call that x. And 8 divided by 3. Those are the two things we're adding. And we're saying twice the sum of this number and 8 divided by 3. So we're just multiplying it by 2. There you go. That one's a little tricky, but I think we got it. Is equal to, here's where we get into our equations. That's the equal sign. The length of a rectangle is twice the width. The length of a rectangle is, that's the equal sign, twice the width. So they're saying the length of the rectangle is twice as long as the width in this case for this particular rectangle. So we'll be asking you to write some algebraic expressions. And here we're actually going to solve some equations. Rule of thumb for this, I would say if you follow this, you should be fine. Simplify both sides. There's several ways to solve equations, but if you can simplify both sides first, get all variables on one side, and all constants, that's your numbers, on other side. Now, then all you really have to do is just solve it. And what I mean by that is usually you're going to divide both sides by a number to get that variable by itself, or multiply both sides by a fraction. This first one's pretty easy. 2p equals 14. Both sides are simplified. I can't add any like terms together like we're going to do with this one. And I got my variable terms on one side, constant on the other. So really all I have to do is get rid of that 2. It's 2 times p. The opposite of multiplying is dividing. So we're going to divide both sides by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so they cancel out, and I get p is equal to 7. Now this one's kind of funky because it has 4 a terms on one side. We basically got to add up all those a terms. They're all like terms. There's no a squared, it's just all a terms. 7a minus 3a is 4a. 4a plus 2a is 6a. 6a minus 1a is 5a. 5a equals 16. Once again, variable term on one side, constant on the other. I'm just going to divide. And you can plug this into your calculator. 16 divided by 5. I think it's 3.2. 3.2. You can write your answer as a fraction or as a decimal. Either way. I'm going to let you guys try C. Simplify both sides and then go from there. So hit pause. And now I will finish it. We're going to simplify here. get rid of the parentheses. So I'm going to distribute this -9 first. 27 equals -45y. Whoa, whoa, whoa. 27 equals -9 times y is just -9y. Sorry about that. -9 times the 5 is -45. 6 times y is 6y. And 6 times 8 is +48 over there. We're not done simplifying. I get a -9y and a +6y. That gives me a total of -3y. I have more negative than positive on that one side. Some people might subtract 6y from both sides here or add 9y, but when you have two y terms on the same side, you combine them to get 1 first of all. -5 and +48, that's going to give me a +3. And here's my variable term, and there's only one of them. It's on the right-hand side. So I'm going to get rid of this constant. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. And I get 24 equals -3y. Dividing both sides by the -3 now. A negative divided by a negative is a positive, so that cancels out to 1. And y equals, in this case, I hope you got, -8. One last problem here. There's a beautiful house there. Carl wants to replace the 5 windows in the bedrooms in his 2-story house. His neighbor has agreed to help install them for $250. If Carl has budgeted $1,000 for the total cost of replacing the windows, what's the maximum amount he can spend on each window? So after the $250, how much money does he have left? And you basically divide it by 5. What I want you to do is write an equation for this. To set this problem up. What would you use? How would you set this problem up? I know a lot of you can probably do it in your head and do it on your calculator, but try and write an equation for this. And now I'm going to. So I'd say, first of all, he's budgeted $1,000, and he's buying windows, and he's getting his neighbor to help him. So $250 goes to his neighbor, and the rest go to windows. And I'm going to say the cost of each window is W. So, and we're going to do 5 of them, so it's 5W. This is one way to write the equation. There's several ways you could do it. But now solving it, subtracting 250 from both sides, 750 equals 5W, and dividing both sides by 5. W equals $150. Now, like I said, you probably could have done this just using your calculator and a little common sense. I'm just trying to get you used to writing equations. You may go ahead and start your assignment. If you had some fuzzy spots with this video, by all means, re-watch it or rewind and try it again. Peace out. See you next time.